Welcome. In this video, we're going to look at a trading strategy that I was reading online. It's called supply and demand. We're going to go ahead and test this strategy approximately 10 times to see if this strategy has an edge. Now, let's go over the basics of this. But before we do, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. That way, helps me know what kind of content to produce here for you. So, supply and demand trading strategy. Googling this online, the rules are pretty straightforward. What we're looking for is a rally in price, a basing, a sideways movement, that's a tight structure, and then a drop in price, or a drop in price, sideways structure, and a rally. And the idea is when price retraces back to this area of supply or demand, that we can go ahead and take a long or short position in the direction of the trend. So let's go ahead and see what type of results this type of strategy can actually generate. Now, I put together a couple examples here for you before we get into it. So here's an example. If we were to look at this structure here, I kind of liked it on the 1 hour. We have a rally in price right here. You can see from the lows on Bitcoin, 29,000. We see it rallied up to the 40,000 range, put in a nice sideways structure, and then dropped. So this becomes the zone of interest. So I've just put a rectangle around that, and we've extended that over to when price hit it, and price hit this zone here. The idea is you're buying on the extremes in the direction of the trend. So this type of trade, you'd take it once price enters the rectangle, and you take a short position on that. And if we wanted to measure out the type of opportunity that put in there, the stop loss is run slightly above the zone plus a few pips plus the spread on a short. And so for that opportunity would have led to like a 3-to-1 reward to risk here on the hourly chart. And if we zoom in, we can see there is another structure. And you can see this blue line here, this is the 200 EMA. So the trade is in the direction that the higher time frame trend is. And here we are, we have a rally in price, sideways structure, drop in price. And when the price comes back to the zone, you can see it did offer a trade opportunity. And if we just want to measure that out, we can do so here. This would be the trade opportunity that offered us something like that. Stop loss above the highs, plus a couple pips, plus spread, and so forth. That trade itself is offered almost a 3-to-1 reward to risk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in time here, and we're just going to look at a bunch of, we're going to go back in Bitcoin here and look at some random trading opportunities to see how this strategy performed. Now, when we go back in Bitcoin, we do have a few biases here as we scroll back, because we know that Bitcoin substantially increased in price over the last 12 months. But nevertheless, knowing that if we're not able to show a profitable strategy during this period, then we know there isn't much edge, especially in a trending market like this, where we want to be looking primarily for buy-side trades. So let's go ahead, take a look where we are, and let's continue on. So let's see what we get for potential setups. So we want to make sure that we're trading it in the direction of the higher time frame trend, like I say, which is the 200 EMA. And we're just going to go through bar by bar here and look until we get setups. We don't want to trade when the 200 EMA is flat, because that's generally a sideways market. So there's not much edge usually in that. And we want to look to get long here. So here as we kind of go through, we can look for these nice tight structures in here. And we primarily want to trade the rallies with a base and then a drop, or a rally, or a drop, a base, and a rally. So let's look for these high probability opportunities, or so they say, and see what the market has to offer. So it's all about measuring the size of the opportunity off of a serious momentum move out of a level. So you can kind of see we have a minor structure that was building here. We have this drop in price. So let's see if we get a rally out of there, and that may be our first level. So not the cleanest level. I don't think anyone would would want to look at this as a buying opportunity if they're trading this strategy. The kind of level that people would be looking for on this strategy is going to be here. So we'll just extend that as the price action unfolds here, see if it gives us a sell opportunity. So far, nothing too great. Another type of setup for this is a rally, a base, and a rally. Oh, so here's another one. So we'll just keep drawing these rectangles until something happens. All right, so it looks like the price has entered the pullback area here, and it did just by like a pip. So that is a trading opportunity. So let's go ahead and assume we took this trading opportunity here, and let's measure this out, stop loss below, and let's look for a 2-to-1 reward to risk on this. See if the market offers it. It doesn't. That first trade is stopped out. So, and in the comments below, let me know if you've seen this strategy before, and how your back tests have went with it. So as we continue moving here, you can see the market's moving sideways. The 200 EMA is relatively flat, so I'm just going to extend this rectangle here up top. Boom, and that becomes a potential selling location, and we did hit it on this candle here. So again, we'd be looking for a 2-to-1 reward to risk on that. Let me just tighten this up a little bit, see if the market offers it. Now this one is counter trend as the 200 EMA is starting to slope up. So we did get a winning trade here on that setup. Now we did come up to another setup. Oh, move the chart a little far. We are in another setup potentially right now, as if I extend this to the right, you can see here we had a drop, a base, and a rally, and now we're in another area of extreme, so we can look to take a long position here, and we can look for that 2-to-1 reward to risk. Here we go. Let's see how this trade works out. I'm just going to tighten this up since we're a little over the 2-to-1. Now let's see what happens here. So remember, we're doing these as basically set and forget trades. So that trade did work out. So now we are 2 winners, 1 loser. Now I'm just going to delete that and delete some of these, and we'll keep going. So here we are. We got 7 trades left to go, and we're going to find out, if this is a strategy that's worth investigating further to see if it's something that we might want to add to our trading setups. So it looks like there isn't a lot of great opportunities, on a 1-hour chart here so far. It's just a lot of like there's a slow drift up here in Bitcoin during this period. So remember, we're looking for a rally like we have there, and then either followed by another rally, there we go, or a drop in price. So you can see so far the price has not been able to come back down to either one of these areas. And again, this market's just moving sideways, so there's not, there we go. We might have a bit of a level here, and it all depends how you qualify your level. For some people, this wick may not, you may not want to trade it just because of the long wick that's in there. But for the sake of testing, we'll see how the setup works. Ultimately, it comes down to, one of the biggest factors is always that higher time frame trend. Are we in the right area, and is this an area of value on the chart? So this did actually hit here and would have offered a signal. You can see right here we are a couple pips in, so let's just go ahead and throw on our measuring tool here. See if this is going to offer us a decent risk reward opportunity. So we want to be looking for that 2-to-1. And And let's just see how the price unfolds here. I'm just going to tighten this up just to make sure that we do have an accurate reading on this. And it did hit the profit target, so there we are. There's 3 trades, or 4 trades done, 3 won, 1 loss. So far, it's not looking too bad. Now it did offer us a second level here, so let's just look closer. You can see there is this next level here, which would look to buy off of. So we have our right above our 200 EMA. We have a pretty tight level, so let's see if the price comes back to this, and if it does, we can look to take another long position. And the price does come back to it and goes through the level. So, you know, maybe you took this trade and you probably would have got stopped out on it. And I think it's important that, you know, we do call that one a loser. And the reason for it is, you know, you could have seen that in real time, and you would have entered and lost, right? Because it did bust through the bottom of the level, and there's probably no way your stop loss is that far down. So as we continue seeing how this unfolds, this is you know, my take on the supply demand strategy. What's important is that when you backtest something, you test it kind of as close as you can to the decisions that you'd make in real time while you're trading it. Now, there is always a bit of discretion involved, and there are 100% mechanical strategies. However, from my experience, the ones that do perform best are the discretionary strategies when you yourself have a good read on the market. Now, that said, this is why this strategy is probably something like 60% mechanical and 40% discretionary. So as we look to the right up here, there is a kind of a level in here. You can see price rallied out of it pretty hard, and yeah, it's going to look something like this. So price did rally out of that decently hard, and this one here, it busted right through. So yeah, that wasn't so much of a great level. This was a rally up with a slight base and another rally up. So given just the momentum of this move, had you seen this big candle forming, I don't think that you know would have took the trade. At least I wouldn't have. So I'll leave that in the out of the test sample. But this trade here, as we kind of went through and continued talking about, we did have a drop, a base, and a rally, and this is an area of extreme, as this is the lower part of the range. So I think it's fair to say that this one would have turned into a trade setup. Just trying to be as accurate as possible on this. So let's see if this does hit our 2-to-1, and it does hit the 2-to-1 reward to risk. So that is 4 winners, 2 losers. So far that is looking good. And I think the big takeaway that we can take from this strategy is when you're looking at a trending market, trying to buy out of the extremes is the more profitable setup rather than trying to buy, you know, in the middle of a move. And I think that's really what this is trying to capture, is those extremes. So we have 4 trades left to go. Let's continue to watch these setups and see how it unfolds. 4 trades left so far. Again, we have 4 winners, 2 losers, and a 2-to-1 reward to risk. And when we're talking about those areas of extremes, you can kind of see here, this area is probably going to be the lowest part, the deepest value of this move. So because of that, we're going to watch this level here and see if the uptrend does continue. So, and you know, it may not hit the level before we make a new level. And there we go. There's the next setup. So let's see if we took this. And you can see it's pretty much right on the 200 EMA. So from the stop just slightly below, and we're looking for that 2-to-1 reward to risk. So let's see how this one works out. And that trade ends up being a loser. So that gives us 4 winners, 3 losers. And we're almost to the end of this test. We only have 3 more trades to look at. So again, we're looking for those buying opportunities because our 200 EMA is in the upward sloping direction. There was maybe a minor level here, but it never came back to it. I think when we're looking at areas of deep value, like we're trying to do here, we wouldn't expect the price to continue to regularly come back and hit those levels. Like those opportunities, since they are deep value, they would be more rare. And as you can see, it's kind of looking like you might say there's one setup per week on an hourly time frame that is in those levels, in those areas. And that may be the problem for those who go to add this to their strategy, as it may take a long time for these setups to form. And oh, there we go. Let me just get this one in here so you see it. So we have a level here. So this one looks something like that. And let's go ahead and see how this trade worked out. I'm just going to measure that out for us so we can clearly see what's happening. We're looking for that 2-to-1. It's going to be something like that. Let's just double check, yet. And we did hit our take profit on this one. So that gives us 5 winners, 3 losers. So I think with this strategy, it really pays to be vigilant. It really pays to take your time, make sure that you're entering the best setups. As you can see, these drops, basis, and rallies seem to work better than, for example, here, which is a rally-based rally. And I think that's just because you're buying the middle of a move. You're not necessarily buying at the extreme. Whereas down here, this is a price that I think everybody in the markets agreed is an extreme. It's a great discount for where the market's going. So that gives us 8 trades. We have 2 left to go. And looking at this, it's probably going to be, we'll see how this move works. If we get a nice rally out, we do. So that gives us a potential level right about here. There's the top of that move. There's the bottom. All right. Let's see if price comes back down there. So price didn't really come back down there yet. It may in the future, I think, but at this point, we have to move to, again, the areas of extremes, which are going to be something like this, and see if we get a pullback to those levels. And so far, no pullback on this. So we just kind of got to keep watching, looking for these drops, these bases, and these rallies, and see what unfolds. Again, we want to be kind of super strict just to give the strategy time to play out. So we're 8 trades in right now, and so far the win-loss ratio is really good. But what do you guys think, watching how this strategy is working? So here we are now. We have our 200 EMA is now sloping down. And you know what? Right here. So this was a setup. So our 200 EMA is sloping down. You can see price did rally out of this. We have a nice a rally, a base, a drop, same type of structure. Let's take a look, see how that trade would have worked out. You can see this candle went into the level. So we'll be running a stop loss, right above, plus spread, plus a couple of pips, and we're looking for that 2-to-1 opportunity. So let's just continue on. And it looks like it did hit the 2-to-1 opportunity, potentially right there. So that one's just shy. Oh, yeah, pretty much 2-to-1 opportunity on that. So, that one, we're going to go ahead and call that a winner. So we were 6 trades, 6 wins, and 3 losses. So far, this trade's looking really good. Let's take a look at, see if we can get this last trade. So pretty simple strategy. Like maybe the hardest part of this strategy is the patience that it takes to buy, to find the levels to buy and sell out of. So more frequent setups would happen on lower time frames. Again, well, I went to grab this here, and looks like we have a rally here, a base, and a drop. So here we are, a rally. We have this drop from these highs here to here. Then we have the sideways basing. And then we have a rally out of it. And I'm primarily looking at the size of the bars, not so much the distance from the basing setup. So I'm just going to tighten this up. What I'll do is I'll just measure this out so we can see if this trade becomes a winning trade or a losing trade. And let's just watch to see how this moves. Oh, and this one ends up being a loser. So there we have it. That's 10 trades done. 10 trades down. So we have 6 winners, 4 losers, which is a 60% win rate over a course of 10 trades. And let's just assume that you risked $100 per trade on this. And the reward we're looking for at the 2-to-1 means our profit, the trades that won 200, the trades that lost 100. So with 4 losers and 6 winners, that means we've made 1,200 on the winners and we lost 400 on the losers. So that means this overall over 10 trades, that would be an $800 gain on the account. So yeah, not too bad. But the worst thing you do right now is go out and just start trading this strategy. The best thing you could do is go ahead and go over what we just looked at. Test this on other markets. Look for the same structures and test it 100 times yourself. And go ahead and get the statistics for your trading and the setups that you see. And see if you can make this a profitable trading strategy if this edge works for you. So go ahead and backtest this. So that is my take on supply and demand trading. We went over it. Pretty straightforward setups. You're looking for rallies, basis, and drops, or drops, basis, and rallies, with the 200 exponential moving average on the chart for the higher time frame trend. And this period that we did these 10 trades, we started in September of 2020, and it looks like we finished here in end of November, beginning of December 2020. So it took approximately 2 months on a 1 hour time frame. So if you're looking for more frequent setups, maybe you want to drop down on a time frame for your testing, maybe a 15-minute. Or if you're looking for less setups, you can go up to maybe a 4-hour or daily charts. So let me know in the comments below what you think, how you would have done this different, and look forward to the next video.